The last two full-time roles I've had, I can attribute 100% of my qualifications for those roles to my experiences as a health content strategist and health content writer. And I can attribute 100% of my experiences as a health content strategist and writer to my freelancing experience. So today I am here to talk with you about the benefits of freelancing that surpass and supersede the financial benefits, right? These are the benefits of freelancing that can actually help you in your core profession or your core career trajectory. And I am going to use my story based on my experiences as a freelancer over the past, I don't even know how many years at this point, to help demonstrate and illustrate some of those benefits that could apply to you if you are trying to make a career pivot. So, if we have not had the pleasure of meeting yet, my name is Megan Freeland. I am a public health pharmacist. I'm the founder of Stock Rose Creative, which is a health content marketing company serving health tech, digital health, and other health organizations with culturally relevant content strategy and content creation. I am also the founder of Health Professionals to Health Writers, which many of you are familiar with. Many of you may have been through the Health Professionals to Health Writers program before. This is a coaching program that helps healthcare providers who are interested in using their clinical expertise for patient education purposes and who are interested in replacing a portion of their primary income through freelance health content writing. I have helped dozens of clinicians transition to health content writing as freelancers through the program, and hundreds of you who have subscribed to the Health Writing for Health Professionals YouTube channel. And so I am looking forward to continuing our conversations about medical writing, health content writing, and really the ways that it has changed and evolved over the past several years. So if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, I welcome you to do that. Also, if you have not yet subscribed to the Future Medical Writer newsletter, where we continue these conversations and we dive a bit more in depth, I welcome you to subscribe there as well. You will see the link to the newsletter in the comments or the description of this video. So for now, we are going to go ahead and start talking about these benefits, right? I have my notes to the side, so if you see me looking off to the side, that's what's going on. I want to make sure I don't miss a thing for you. The first story I want to tell you is about how I transitioned into health content writing. Okay, this is going to illustrate for you one of the potential benefits of freelancing when it comes to career shifts and career pivots. My full-time career, I am a public health pharmacist. So I did not practice in the traditional sense in a community or in a hospital setting. My mic fell. I hope y'all can hear me. I did not practice in a traditional sense in those types of settings. My background was really in medical writing and health communications. So I worked in organizations like the CDC. I trained at organizations like Janssen Scientific Affairs and Indiana University Health System, doing drug information, different types of medical writing. If you're unfamiliar with the various types of medical writing that exist, check out one of my playlists. It is about the 8 or 9 different types of medical and health writing that are out there. It's really informative. But when I started freelancing, that was a bit of a new skill set for me. It wasn't brand new because obviously I'd had writing and communications experience previously, but it was relatively new because I was communicating with a different audience and I was doing so in a different way than I was in my full-time career. What freelancing helped me do was get practice, lots and lots of practice with applying my writing and communication skill sets to a different setting, right? To a different form of patient communications known as health content writing. And that brings me to the first benefit of freelancing that I want to share with you. When you have a narrow, and I don't mean narrow as in limited, I mean narrow as in specific. So when you have a specific set of skills, and you want to broaden that set of skills so that they are more transferable to different professional opportunities, freelancing can be an excellent way to do that. You are able to use the skill set that you already have and kind of creep the scope of that expertise and get lots of experiences with implementing that expertise in a way that you might not necessarily get to do in your full-time career. some career or employment situations are very flexible in that if you decide you want to attempt something new or kind of spread your wings a little bit, learn a new skill set, maybe there would be opportunities for you to do that in your at your job. But a lot of jobs are more limited in nature. And so if you want to expand or learn an adjacent skill set, you may not get the opportunity to do that unless you take it upon yourself to create those opportunities for yourself. And freelancing is the way that I created those opportunities for myself. It's a way that you can create those opportunities to grow and expand your skill sets for yourself also. So that is point number one that I want to mention about potential professionally related benefits of freelancing. Okay, the second piece of this story is that when I started freelancing, I was very experimental in terms of the types of freelancing that I was doing. So let me first preface this by saying health professionals, health writers didn't exist. There was no equivalent when I came into freelancing. So what I learned was very much through trial and error. I did not niche down to blogs initially. I did start out writing blogs, but I was also exploring other pockets and buckets of freelance writing too. That was great for me in the beginning because I was able to take part in exciting projects that I might not have otherwise if I had been very limited in what I was doing at that time. So for example, one of the biggest projects that I worked on was writing a textbook, essentially. It was a board prep exam review textbook, and it was geared towards medical students who are preparing for their board exams. Now, obviously, there is lots of content there that I wouldn't have necessarily had the background to write. What I wrote was the pharmacology textbook of that exam prep series. It was about 262 pages. I recently shared it on TikTok if you want to kind of see what that looked like. But I wrote that book 100% myself with the support of editors and people who helped with the revisions process. That was a huge contract. Another very interesting and very significant contract that I secured early on in my writing career or my freelance writing journey was not just writing, but also designing and just creating an entire accredited course for an institution. This course was for pharmacy technicians or aspiring pharmacy technicians who were taking the certification exam. And so I basically wrote all of the content for the course. There was a lot of experiential, what do you call that thing? If you're a pharmacist, you know what I'm talking about. My Dispense. It's like the computer software where it simulates different types of pharmacies and you have different scenarios that you have to work through. I had to create all of those simulations, like from ideating what the situations were going to be to actually building it out in My Dispense. Also writing the copy for like the actual didactic part of the course, everything head to toe. I engaged in that contract and it was a lot of work, but it taught me a lot and it was very rewarding. My point here is that another benefit of freelancing, one that has an impact on your professional career, is that you're able to take advantage of stretch opportunities. Again, some of you may work in a setting where you have the ability to take advantage of stretch opportunities at your employer. A lot of folks do not. At most times in my career, I have not worked at a job that allowed me to have those types of stretch opportunities. Whereas when you're freelancing, you're able to kind of you still want to have a niche, because I know some of you are like, oh, this means that she doesn't recommend having a niche. That's not what I'm saying. It's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is when you are freelancing, you are a business owner. And because you are a business owner, you have the ability to decide where you are going to focus your efforts. And even as opportunities come to you that are not necessarily a part of your core niche or your core expertise, because it's your business, you have the ability to decide, I'm actually going to do this anyway. Like, I know this isn't writing for social media, or I know this isn't writing emails. I know this isn't writing blogs, whatever your niche is. I know this is not the therapeutic area I've chosen to specialize in. but you know what? This is an interesting opportunity. I can do it, I can learn, and I'm going to take advantage of it. So those stretch opportunities are really, really valuable and can be applied not only to your freelance writing journey, but those experiences also translate to your professional resume and your professional expertise as well. So that's number two. The next story I'm going to tell you, there are a couple of benefits associated with it. Okay, so I know I estimated at the beginning like how long I've been freelancing. It's been about 9 years, 9 years. And over the course of that 9 years, in a freelance or consulting capacity, I've probably worked with 25 to 30 organizations. In any other case, right? If we were talking about a job and I said in 9 years I've worked at 25 to 30 jobs, right? That would be a red flag, a yellow flag at the very least, but probably red. Freelancing brings you a variety that you would not be exposed to in a full-time type of situation. And when I say variety, I mean variety in organization culture, organization structure, organization size, right? I've worked at very small startups. I've worked for hospital systems. I've worked for or consulted for pharmaceutical companies, right? Various sizes, different business models, which means that their marketing strategies are different, which means that their content marketing strategy and needs are different. I'm exposure to a variety of therapeutic areas, a variety of team structures where maybe there is one person on the marketing or communications team, or literally no one on the marketing team, or there is a huge marketing team. That type of exposure to that type of variety is valuable, again, because you're not only getting to apply your skill sets and hone your skill sets according to that variety, but you're also then able to speak to those experiences and that variety when you are pursuing full-time or career-driven opportunities as well. So as opposed to being able to only speak to a role that I've had for 2 or 3 years in a full-time capacity, when I'm in an interview process, I'm able to bring in my experiences from these 30 plus organizations that I've freelanced or consulted for as well. And that is incredibly valuable. That exposure to variety, that is one of the benefits that I want you to take from this particular story. I want you to also remember that freelancing is a great way to discover what you like and dislike, what you enjoy and don't enjoy so much. All of those different varieties of organization size and structure and marketing strategy. As I am experiencing each of those things, I am keeping mental notes about, is this an organization that I would want to work for 40 plus hours a week, right? Like maybe it's not. And I've had those experiences where like, I'm grateful for this freelancing opportunity, but I know that I wouldn't work for this type of organization long term because of XYZ reason. Knowing what you like and what you dislike is a benefit across the board when you're thinking about your professional trajectory, because that influences what types of full-time or part-time opportunities you would pursue versus those that you wouldn't pursue. And you're able to get that data because you have experienced those settings as a freelancer in some way. And then the last thing that is really, really valuable is that when you are a freelancer, you're getting the opportunity to work with a lot of different people, and they're also getting an opportunity to work with you. They're getting an opportunity to learn how you think, what your strengths are, how you gel with their team, how you work, how you manage projects, how you execute, the quality of work that you deliver. And if you're putting your best foot forward, which hopefully you always are as a freelancer, then people are getting to like you, getting to know you, getting to trust you. And I have had experiences on multiple occasions where I've been offered a full-time role, or I've been asked if I would like to come on full-time to a particular team, rather than just being a freelancer. In most of those cases, I have declined because I was intentionally in a space where I wanted to continue growing my business. And at those times, I didn't have a full-time job and I wasn't looking for one in that moment. But that's another way that you could potentially pivot your career into a more desirable direction if you are leaving a good impression, and you're doing excellent work and you're freelancing because you're involved with that company in a way where they can truly kind of understand you and how you would fit in their organization as a permanent member of their team. So it's a really good way to you to get firsthand experience working with them and they to get firsthand experience working with you, which can obviously translate to more permanent professional benefits if you're interested in that. So that's five potential benefits, right? To recap, we talked about building upon a specific set of skills and expanding those out. We talked about the ability to take on stretch opportunities that you might not have access to in a full-time role, exposure to a wider variety of settings and opportunities, discovering what you like and dislike, what you prefer and would rather not engage in, and also building solid relationships and increasing people's trust in you in a way that could potentially translate to some professional benefits, invitations to take on a full-time role, etc. So just a reminder that this combination of benefits is not just specific to your experience or your background or your trajectory as a freelancer. This is directly applicable to your professional trajectory as well. And so as you are thinking about why you want to become a freelancer, right? Like why you're interested in freelancing beyond, again, the financial benefits, although one of the benefits of all of this is that you're able to gain those 5 benefits and still get paid for it. I will acknowledge that. But as you're thinking beyond those financial benefits, these are things that you want to consider. Consider the professional advantages that freelancing can offer you as well. These are the types of conversations that we are elaborating on in the Future Medical Writer newsletter. So again, I invite you to subscribe. The link is in the description. I'm just going to close with a reminder. So I started out this saying that the past 2 roles that I've had, full-time roles that I've had over the past 5 years, I wouldn't have qualified for without my experience as a freelance health content strategist and writer. And the reason for that is because so this is going to require you to know a little bit about the different types of medical and health writing. So again, if you haven't watched that playlist, feel free to check it out. But my experiences were very specific to, early on, they were very specific to communicating with a clinical audience or with a regulatory audience. That's because of the training programs I had done and the roles that I had done. When I decided that I wanted to explore communicating with the patient audience through health communications and health content writing, that led me down the freelancing journey. I stumbled upon freelancing accidentally. I didn't know it was a thing. I didn't know that writing for patients was something that organizations would pay for. I think I've shared that story before. But when I decided that I was interested in that, I started just dabbling myself. Like, how can I get more experience, more practice, and honestly, just more enjoyment out of writing that I was missing in my more regulatory job at the time? And over the next several years, I would freelance for some incredible organizations. I would shift my niche several times until I ultimately chose a niche where I was developing content strategies, culturally relevant content strategies for health tech and digital health companies. And many of those health companies happen to be in the sexual, reproductive, or maternal health space, and were specifically working to build out content that would be more applicable to Black women. And that was like a sweet spot for me. That was a perfect niche for me. And so when an opportunity to join Planned Parenthood as their associate director of Black media came along, I read that job description and I saw some things that I had not done before, but I would say 85% I had done before. And I had only done it before because of my experience as a health content strategist and writer. That experience didn't directly come from my professional background. That experience directly came from my freelancing background. And so I was able to fill in the gaps that were missing because I was so qualified from a broader perspective, for 85% of that role, right? Like I knew that I could fill in the gaps. And so I was selected for that opportunity, and my career it pivoted from there, and it's been able to grow in that direction. I wouldn't have been able to do that if I had only relied on my professional experience at the time. So hopefully this serves as inspiration for you to consider what it would look like, what it would look like to dream beyond the trajectory that your career is on right now, what trajectory you might want to shift your profession, your career into, and how you can use freelancing and let's just say side opportunities as a way to better strengthen your qualifications and your candidacy for that type of role and pivot in that direction. So hopefully I'll see you in the Future Medical Writer newsletter. Again, please subscribe to the channel, and we'll